President Yoon's impeachment trial begins on Tuesday with the first hearing scheduled for 2 p.m. The trial already faces a rocky start, with Yoon's legal team disputing much of the proceedings and filing an objection to the first session. We have our correspondent Oh Soo-young on the line at the Constitutional Court to provide us with the latest. Sooyoung, President Yoon's trial hearing kicks off tomorrow, but he will not be showing up at the hearing.
That's right, Tongmin. Yoon's legal team on Monday afternoon filed an objection against the first trial hearing on Tuesday, raising procedural issues. This comes after it revealed on Sunday that the president wouldn't be attending. Now, Yoon's plan to miss the first hearing doesn't really come as a surprise, given that his team has already indicated that they need more time for preparations, and they've also raised issues with the way that the Constitutional Court is conducting the hearings. His team today filed an objection to how the Constitutional Court scheduled 5 hearing dates without consulting the representatives, and further raised concerns over the court's decision to obtain records from ongoing trials and investigations, arguing that such evidence acquisition is prohibited under the Constitutional Court Act. The court's press officer before this announcement on Monday said that it is not making any violations, and that without the parties present at the first session, the hearing is likely to end rather quickly. Now, former President Park Geun-hye's first trial hearing for her impeachment, it lasted around 9 minutes due to her absence. Well, if President Yoon skips the first session tomorrow, then it would have to be rescheduled by the judges. But if he misses the second one, then the court is allowed to proceed without him.
Also, pre-trial hearings for Prime Minister Han Duck-soo's impeachment began on Monday, which critics say is procedurally questionable. How did it go?
Yes, the first preparatory hearing for Prime Minister Han began at 4 p.m. today, 17 days after the National Assembly pushed for a vote to impeach him when he refused to give in to political demands by the opposition party, which holds a majority in Parliament. Now, during the session, justices aimed to outline the main arguments made by Han's side and the Assembly panel. The National Assembly set out 5 grounds for impeachment, including Han's veto of 2 controversial bills and an accusation of participating in the short-lived martial law decree. It also cited his plan to conduct state governance between the ruling party and the government after the declaration of martial law, as well as Han's refusal to appoint special prosecutors and constitutional court justices. Now, all of these accusations would have to be backed by evidence. Now, Han's lawyers argued that the Prime Minister had not taken part in the martial law decision nor its execution, and that the acting president's appointment of justices is a responsibility but not an obligation. They also said that Han had in fact offered to appoint justices once there would be a bipartisan agreement. Now, but here the key argument is expected to be over the validity of the Assembly's impeachment motion. Han, who was serving as acting president at the time, was impeached under voting standards of a simple majority that applies to the Prime Minister, rather than a 2/3 majority which applies to the president. So this really reflects the stance of the ruling party as well, which would like to see Han reinstated, particularly as his successor as acting president, Choi Sang-mok, appointed 2 constitutional court justices, which would speed up the trial of President Yoon Suk Yeol, and it would presumably lead to an early presidential election that favors the opposition party. Well, Monday's hearing lasted for about an hour, much longer than expected, as Prime Minister Han and the National Assembly side, they clashed over the grounds for arguments. The lead justice therefore decided to call another pre-trial hearing for February 5th.
Thanks, Sooyoung, for the coverage. Appreciate it.